No vests.
All right, getting my setup proper. Jay, episode 15 tonight, man. I mean, we're just we're out here. How are you doing tonight,
we
man?
just looked back, man. 3 months ago, we started doing this, and we haven't really looked up or looked back, rather, is what I meant to say. But yeah, I'm happy to be here once again, talking shit with my guy. It's what more can you ask for?
No, I completely agree. 3 months. I feel like we're like Amazon or Microsoft. Where they start in a garage. It starts off and then it blows up. We're looking at our analytics and everything's trending up, week in, week out. We're getting a lot of good feedback. So I mean, let's just keep this thing going, Jay.
Yeah, and to the core people that we've built, the people that come back that look forward to us every Thursday, like, can't appreciate it more, and we won't ever forget about you when we're fucking, like he said, Amazon, Microsoft, no vest. It's gonna be there. It's manifestation.
It really will. Now, Jay, you wanted to start off the episode and talk. Already got a Travis Scott seltzer down.
Yeah,
That's good news.
We're going back to Miller. I'm showing my roots a little.
There you go.
But yeah, going back. Yeah, no, there was something that crossed my mind. I basically, experiences, history repeats itself in ways. And so I had a similar experience that I had long time ago, and it just doesn't hit the same. And what I wanted to bring up is, when you're out and about, and this goes both ways, I'm sure. I'm sure the girls can feel me. The guys will definitely feel me. You're out and about, and you see a nice 8, a nice 7.5 to 9, somewhere in that range, somewhere very attractive, right? And it just doesn't necessarily hit the same as it used to, with the Instagrams and all that. I'm scrolling past 9s and 10s and 11s all day, not to mention they're filtering and they're doctoring all these pictures, and it just, I'm looking at perfection all day, and now it's like I'm out in the streets, I see a nice 8.7, and it doesn't really move the needle like it used to, if you will. So I want to know how you feel about that. I'll go into a specific story, but I just want to know how you feel about that.
I would say that's true, for the most part. I mean, I still will acknowledge people out in the field. I think, you know me, I'm not, I'm not one of those people who, is constantly looking at their phones and whatnot on Instagram. To me, I like to try to separate the two, in person,
right,
online, and like not try to cross them, because as you know, what you think is online and you think it translates in person, never the same
real.
deal. It's not real. So when I see someone who, looks decent in public, I'm basically thinking, okay, their social media is going to be a point or two higher than that. You know what I'm saying? So when you see it on the field, it's real. But
and I agree with you. I guess just what I'm saying is it just makes it difficult. You know what I'm saying? It's blurring those lines a little bit, because what'll happen is, for example, back in the day, I used to ref basketball, right? And during these games, maybe it was whether it was a older sister, maybe it was a mother, I don't know. I didn't get the chance to, you know what I'm saying? I'm busy, I'm reffing, but I catch a glimpse of this woman. She's watching the game, and I just have to, at the time, I was like, this is the most beautiful woman I've ever seen.
Now,
you know what I'm saying?
I say that once. I say that probably on average once every 1.5 to 2 days. I use that phrase. That's the hottest girl I've ever seen in my life. I use it. It's my patented line. I don't always mean it, because there was this girl in Ridgefield, Wisconsin, when I was golfing, and I don't know what she was doing in the clubhouse, but I think it may have been Chrissy Teigen. I don't know for certain who it was, but I came back to the car. I said, guys, that was the hottest girl in the entire world. I don't care who you show me, whatever happens next. I know my own truth, and I know that was the most attractive girl to ever walk the planet.
So you're tapped into reality a bit more, because I guess my point of all this is that I find myself saying that less in real life and more on my phone. You know what I'm saying? I go on my phone and I just see all these women. I'm like, that's the hottest chick I've ever seen. And then I tap into their profile. I keep going. You know what I'm saying? It's like I see that more. And then when I'm out and about and I'll see a beautiful woman, and it's almost like, yeah, but I've seen that on my phone. That's kind of like where my mind goes. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, like I follow 100 of those on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? It's like we've all seen that already. But you stay tapped into real life, and I think I need some tips from you or something. I need to get off of Instagram more. I think I need to mute everyone like you did, so I just see less. Really, it's those explore pages, though. I don't know what I'm liking. Those explore pages really get me, man.
You gotta stay off the explore. I mean, there's really no excuse. Now, I have ran into this scenario, and this is something that I think every guy can say this happens to him. You know, you're at the mall or you're doing whatever, and you have a couple positive interactions with someone, and you get their name. You know, say it's Julie or Judy or whatever. But what are you gonna do with that name? You know what I'm saying? You gotta get the last name so you can. Now, I'm not saying like I look everybody who I meet up on social media, but you know what I'm saying? You gotta get that last name or the first name. I feel like first names now are just so useless. You know what I'm saying? Now someone texts me like, oh, you know, like I'll just straight up tell people like name's Jack Malik, like look, Google me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not gonna. I feel like some people hide that last name. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now this brings me into another. So I wasn't really gonna bring this up this episode, but this brings me into. This is a great segue into this. Now, I was talking to this girl and she told me, yeah, when I go out to bars, all these guys are asking me for my number. You know, she's a cuter girl. So all these guys are asking me for my number always. Whatever, slight flex. It's all good.
Yeah, good for you.
And she goes, well, I just am so nice, I can't say no. So I give them my number, but then they text me the next day and I never respond. And I go, well, why don't you just give them a fake number or whatever? And she goes, because they'll just call me right when they get the number so that they can see if like it's the real number. Now, I don't know if that's a tactic I use, but I generally do. I'll hit the call and then end right away because I wanted my phone log, you know what I'm saying? So then it's like, okay, I got that.
You don't necessarily want to save the contact.
Yeah, the contact. No one has time for the contact.
Like I met her at around 1 a.m. Like I remember that. Yeah. You know, I vaguely remember that.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, you just have you can't. There's no way. You don't really want to lock in a contact rather, especially like you said, it's a first name. I know 10 Maddies. It's gonna get lost. You know what I'm saying?
It's gonna get lost in the sauce.
Yeah. So I feel you. I know. I get what you're saying.
Are you hitting that call right away, Jay? Are you hitting that call?
I don't necessarily hit the call and let it ring and like wait because I don't want to get hurt on the spot. You know what I'm saying? Like it happens to the best of us. You get a false number and you text, you know, some guy that works at fucking who knows where the next day.
Sprint.
Yeah. So like, you know, that happens, but yeah, I think to avoid, you know, that getting hurt in the moment where she knows you gave her a fake number and then, but to say that, I mean, that chick, like that's a next level play from that chick she knows that that's going to happen and she just is willing to not respond anyways. So
you asked me for a tip, and I'll drop a little tip on MVP. Now I'm not huge on dropping tips on MVP, but this is a tip I will give you. Okay. And it's pretty obvious. Is when a girl puts like a number in your phone and they have any type of emoji in there, like a heart emoji, any emoji, right. Or if they put like dream girl or bad bitch or something
this is a scenario where they're creating the contact.
They're creating the contact. If they throw in like any kiss emoji, heart emoji, any type of emoji, and or like anything to do with like being a hot chick, dream girl, or like
right,
like cutie, whatever,
You
they
think it's a
put
fake number?
no, I don't think it's a fake number. I think that is I think that's a positive sign. I think that's
Okay.
extremely positive. I don't think that they put that in everyone's contact book. I think that is like a, hey, like, do I have your attention now? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Maybe I'm just naturally pessimistic is the word. I would assume that they're trying to like do it up to kind of like fake you out. You know what I mean? But I see what you're saying. Like if they take that next step to put a little more effort into the contact name, then they definitely gave you the real number they want you to text them. I see. But if they just put like their first name, like no, like maybe a last initial or some no effort into the contact name, odds are it's a fake number.
Odds are it's a fake. Absolutely.
All right.
So Jay,
we'll leave that for the Vesters.
You wanted to get into beds. You wanted to have a conversation about beds. Now I know what the MVPs, the no vesters out there are thinking. This bed discussion is not a sexual discussion. This is just a strictly logical bed bed discussion.
Yeah, and I don't like to put a box on anything. This conversation could go anywhere, but yeah, and I don't want to, we'll leave it for when it comes, but essentially you were telling me that you've recently upgraded your bed situation, and I just want you to speak on that a little bit, and I'm happy for you, first of all, because you've told me that you've upgraded from a full, and I was just glad to hear that. I know you're much taller than me, and I think you were due for that. I think you earned that, so I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, I did. I finally upgraded from a full. I know people are probably shaming me for having a full, at this stage of life, I would say. But, yeah, I finally upgraded to the Queen, got the new frame, got everything. It's shipped. It's on its way. I'm very excited. But, there's always a time and a place where you outgrow a bed. And, Jay, you've touched on that as well. Like, you can only rock a twin bed for so long. I rocked a twin bed all the way up until, when I was at my parents' house, all the way up until, like, a couple years ago. Like, because my brother and I shared a room. There's only room for twins. You have two fully grown men sleeping on twin beds. It is what it is. You just shut up and you just do your job. But, you definitely at times, you outgrow that. You got the legs hanging through the way past the bed.
Yeah, it becomes not much bigger than like the sofa chair that's in your living room. Like I totally get it. You do. I mean, whether it's size or length or whatever it is, you need a little bit more space. And as an adult, I feel like you owe it to yourself to have that sleeping space. And now I think that just you teed it up for me, and I think we should just jump into the red flags of the week, because my red flag of the week, and I'm throwing this out there, obviously I have to give a break to the college kids. You know what I'm saying? I understand the dorm situations are different, but at some point sights need to be aimed higher. And if you're walking in and they got anything smaller than a full is kind of like the line that I'm drawing it at, but I may even red flag the full. But I'm 100% red flagging the twin. If you wherever you're taking them back, they're taking you back to their apartment. You're having a good time, or maybe they invite you over for a little bit.
Are you going back to dorm rooms? I mean, what's going on here? Why are you running into twin?
I want to make sure that this doesn't happen. Is because you immediately, like, maybe she lied. She told you she's 22 or something like that. You go back and she's got a twin. It should just. Lights should flash. You should just immediately start, the numbers should start adding up in your head. This is not where I necessarily want to be. And I think you can agree with me.
I got a couple more follow-up questions on this. I kind of want to unpack this, Jay.
Unpack it.
I want to unpack it. And I want to ask you, what's MVP, specifically, Juicy Jalen's stance on one? Like the mass amounts of pillows you can find on a bed. I'm talking like, 6-7 throw pillows or stuffed animals. And then you will run into some chicks that will have, the little blanket. And it's like, this has been my blanket since I was 5.
Jack,
now, we know the blanket's a red flag. Now, we know that.
Yeah. We know that does go without being said. The stuffed animals, the special blankies. There's a line where it's no longer a blanket, it's a blankie. That's a huge problem. Huge red flag. I totally agree. I was like hoping that we didn't really get into that because that's, I mean, we could have pocketed that for later, another red flag. But yeah, stuffed animals and blanket, like personal special blankets, super red flag, no doubt. But when you ask me my stance on the pillow situation, I love a lot of pillows personally. That's kind of my swag. I mean, I'm not going to count them. I think I have somewhere between 7 to 8 to 9 pillows. I'll say
too many pillows. That is way
6
too many
to 8 pillows.
That is
I disagree.
Too many pillows. That I'm red flagging you. That is too many pillows. Now I don't even sleep. My head, when I go to sleep at night, most nights doesn't even hit a pillow.
Okay, we're giving too much. That's a red flag. If you can go flat on the bed with no pillow, you're a psycho.
I'm flat bedding it. I'm absolutely flat bedding it. I'm just posted up on the bed, flat surface. It's comfortable. I don't think enough people give it a shot.
You're a sicko if you actually believe that. And I've dealt with people like that, and I literally, I'm not with them anymore. You know, like they're dead and gone. Like, if you can actually lay flat on a bed without a pillow, I think you're crazy. And so I'm with you. There's a healthy medium.
6 is too many.
You may say that's too many.
8 is definitely too many.
But if I come over and there's only 2 pillows on the bed, one for me, one for you, I'm upset. I'm truly upset. So, I need multiple pillows in the mix.
Jay, what are you doing with 7 or 8 pillows? How many pillows are you tucking around your body or in between your knees? How many are you just getting thrown off the bed?
So, okay, and I wanted to eventually circle back to what you said. I like pillows with a purpose. So these throw pillows and the like the ones that are just there to look good, those stand no purpose to me, and I don't want them there. I'd prefer if they just weren't there. So those stand no purpose. But when you ask, like, yeah, like I may go like 2 under. I may like
2 under.
You know,
that's like,
dude, I don't know what
happened. You're like a 45-degree angle.
Yeah, almost. I don't like. I needed to fill this space. You know what I'm saying? From my shoulder, and I'm a broad-shouldered guy.
Are you a My Pillow guy? Are you a My Pillow guy? Let's just out you on MVP. Are you a My Pillow guy?
What is a My Pillow? I have a favorite pillow out of my 7.
No. That you don't know the My Pillow guy who's on the ads.
I haven't ordered any special pillows. I haven't gone that deep. Are you saying there's like custom pillows?
Yeah, it's My Pillow. It's like a
I don't get that deep. I do like. I mean, what it comes down to is getting a good night's sleep. And that kind of goes back to my original red flag. You're not getting a good night's sleep in a twin bed with 2 people. It just doesn't happen. So you just need to be careful. I need maximum pillows. However many you want to use, that's fine. Throw the rest to me. And yeah, I'm grabbing some under the leg. You know, you never know. I want to be able to grab one in the middle of the night and do it with whatever I want.
I've been running into a recent issue, and this is, I don't know why I'm sharing this. It's a little bit more personal on MVP, but I've been running into an issue where I drool, and I've only been drooling when I've been taking a nap. So I don't drool like when I just fall asleep at night, but when I take like an hour nap, I don't know, I think my body goes into comatose. But I've been waking up to some puddles, man, like some heavy amounts of drool. I think I need to go see my doctor because it's a mass. It's literally a puddle. Some kid could go swimming in it. It's a lot of drool.
And that's the time where you want to be able to just throw that pillow away and then just like grab another one readily accessible because you have more than enough. So you said.
I keep 4 on my bed, 2 for me, 2 for you. You know, everyone.
That's good.
But then
I don't with that.
I don't sleep with really you. Maybe I have one under the arm, but I don't. My head isn't going upon any soft surface other than my bed.
That's crazy. That's actually crazy to me. I'm red flagging you, dude. Not that I would ever be in bed with you, so it doesn't matter. But
yeah, where are we going with this, Jay? I mean,
I'm not attracted to you. I think we've went over that.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's obviously a long-winded red flag, and I gave you like 4 in there. So just do with it what you will, Novesters, and reach back to us on these red flags. We've been getting good feedback. People have been saying, I don't know what they say about you, Jack. I've been getting that my red flags are real deal. People are running into these in the streets, and they're not swerving. You know what I'm saying? They're avoiding these.
I have been hearing that Jalen has been putting out fire red flags. Now I understand that, but you got to realize that I think I'm beating you on like a 50-50 basis. I think 50% of the time my red flags are better.
Yeah, I don't want to take anything away. We're both giving away absolute gems, and that's all we're trying to do to these people. I just want to know, like, are people running into your, like, have they told you, like, yeah, dude, I just saw that this week, and thank you, because like I had to swerve on that.
I think that the the long time getting ready in the bathroom, I think that was more of like a personal red flag. I don't know how many other people are red flagging that, but I have heard some people say, some of your red flags are legit. Now, this is my red flag of this week, and this is it's almost like a recent trend, if you will.
Okay.
Is the girls who can't stop vaping. It's like just everywhere you go, it's a vape clouds are coming out. And it's like, do your parents care if I vape? It's like, no, they don't, but, you are a respected adult. Maybe you shouldn't be vaping in a very social setting with other people, who are, adults with a career. Like, I don't know. Maybe they might look down upon you. I don't know. I'm just saying you got to worry about, like, the first thing she does when she wakes up isn't even check her phone, or grab it off the charger. She's grabbing that Juul right off the charger and she's smacking it. You gotta red flag it. If she's in the whip and she's just, and like you can see it in her face, it's like, like you gotta red flag the vapors. You gotta do it. It's like a full body.
Her throat and diaphragm is just, you know what I'm saying, making large efforts to get a rip out of this vape. She's putting a little too much effort into it. It's no longer just like a little thing she likes to taste. No. She's into this vape, and I agree. And with the vapes, there's levels because there's the Juul chicks, and I think you need to red flag that 100%.
Yeah, you do. You absolutely do.
Well, at some point, it becomes like beyond a red flag, and when they got those fucking Game Boy sized. And they're like dripping the liquid into the, you know what I'm saying, with the different, this is cotton candy Mountain Dew flavored. And you're just like, I don't know. And they're like filling up the car.
Yeah.
Super, super red flag. But yeah, even the Juuls, like if they're a little too attached to their Juuls, if they've printed out stickers to put on their Juuls, you know what I'm saying? Like if they've customized their Juul in any way, if they're just a little bit too attached to the Juul, huge red flag. I'm glad you brought that out.
If you ever find yourself like changing your plans to go get Juul pods, it's like, I
wanted to say that
the game starts at 6, and they're like, we just have to swing past a gas station. You're like, there's this Citgo up the road. Citgo doesn't sell Juul pods. It's like we need to go to this specific fucking gas station because they sell mango. They sell mango. Mango's my favorite flavor. We gotta go get the mango Juul pods. It's like, give me a break, man.
I'm so glad you said that. I'm never detouring anything I'm doing so that you can fill up your Juul pods. Okay, like it's just I'm not doing it, and it's just call me whatever, but it's just it's a huge red flag. I'm super glad you brought it. And again, this is gonna wipe out a lot of people's draft boards. A lot of people's top prospects are Juul fiends, and I hate to break it to you guys, but that's a huge red flag, and I'm super glad you brought that up.
It's a massive red flag because it's always like, and people when I was growing up, and Jay, you'll attest to this too, was like the whole thing was when we were in middle school, like you can't smoke Kush, or in high school you can't smoke Kush because it's a gateway drug. All of a sudden, you're gonna go from smoking a doobie with your boys to like shooting up H. It's like this massive like. It's a gateway. Well, like, whatever happened to just, like, like, maybe you shouldn't be vaping when you're, like, 15 because you're gatewaying into, like, being addicted to nicotine and, like, really never being able to fully get off it. And I honestly think, like, our grade is kind of, like, the start of it. But, like, if you look at the younger people Like
Oh,
they're
they're all
all
on it.
addicted to vaping, nicotine, whatever. And it's like, oh, when I was in softball season, I used to put in, a decent amount of long cut grizzly. I'm out there with the boys, but like
Yeah.
when I hop off the softball field, I'm done with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and I just feel like there's such a bad stigma like around chewing and smoking cigs, and people think that like, oh, I'm vaping, it's not that bad. Well, yeah, it doesn't smell like shit, but it's just like you're getting
It's just as
as
bad, yeah.
addicted, if not more so, because you can do it
Right.
socially acceptable in all these various places.
Yeah, yeah, and it's bad. And another thing that I see too, this is similar but different. It seems as if the younger, like people younger than us, I don't know about you, I don't really drink coffee, but I feel like coffee is like the coolest thing to drink now. If you're like in high school, like, oh, I drink coffee. Look at my, I went to Dunkin', like all the whole like I don't know, and like it's just I feel like coffee is a big thing, and it's like as a kid, like who really wants to pump coffee? Like
Yeah.
caffeine addiction and nicotine addiction are real. Like that's
Yeah.
a real fucking thing, and it's
I've like never
I
drank
can't
coffee.
get into either of those.
I don't like the smell of coffee. I don't like coffee. I don't dabble into coffee at all. But I do have a coffee story somehow. I was at
Stop it.
Starbucks. I needed to pop in, get the free Wi-Fi, bang out a couple things. I got the strawberry acai. Now, if you've never had the strawberry acai at Starbucks, it is probably the girliest drink out there. It's literally pink, and it comes
Yeah.
with slices of strawberries. It's like
Don't
the
get
sugar.
anything from Starbucks that isn't like brightly colored
Yes.
and fruity flavored. That's
Yeah.
like the only reason I'm there. But
Yeah.
but carry on.
But this guy pulls in, and he's like flirting with the cashier a little bit, and then he was just like, we should go get coffee sometime. And I was like, I couldn't tell if it was just like an absolute shot in the dark or if it was supposed to be like this funny
A joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she like looked back at like her coworkers like, what did he just say? Like, oh my god, it was so weird. And she just kind of like laughed it off, but he was like pretty serious when he threw it out there like, we should go get coffee sometime. And
Yeah.
she just obviously
Yeah, offering coffee barista like coffee is a little bit. That's like telling a bartender like we should go get a drink sometime. It's like no, I'm serving drinks all week. Like
Yeah.
that's not really my like go-to thing to do. But that's funny because I almost want to pocket this, but I think we should just get into it now. I want to know what your stance on the barista community is because I'm sure you've dealt with a couple baristas. And I just want to know. You shaking your head? No, you've never dabbled in the barista category.
No, I like I said, I actually have not. I truly haven't. One, because I don't drink coffee, so
Right.
you don't really find me. I very rarely go to like a Starbucks, Collectivo, anything like that, because I just think like if you're not getting a coffee, it's the most overpriced place to be. Like you get
Yeah.
a smoothie and it's like $8. It's like this is a quarter the size of Jamba Juice and it's worse. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Right.
I always just
So-
find myself never even going to those places. Like if people ask me to go get a coffee, I'm always shutting it down.
Right. And so I guess that's I ask because I would assume that the barista crowd is out in the night. You know what I'm saying? Like they work during the day, so then they're kind of out during the night. And I would assume that maybe you've bumped into the baristas, but apparently not, and that's okay. But
No,
I'll
you
say
you say the baristas as if it's like you're referring to the baristas as if it's a large number
I think it's
of
a
our
category.
workforce. I don't think so. Like
it is. There's millions of coffee shops all around the world. I
there's
mean,
really
coffee
only
is
you can narrow down. And I hate to be like this on MVP, but I ran the analytics. I've ran the analytics in my head.
Okay.
98. I don't know what the real numbers are, but this is Jack Mihalik's theory. 98% of women you can categorize into two categories. Maybe three. Nurses, teachers, hairdressers. Boom, done. Bag it, take it to the bank. That's 98%. And when I say nurses, there's like levels to nursing and just like the medical
Right.
industry. Like it could be doctors, it could be
100%.
whomever. But it's always medical, teachers, hairstylists. That includes.
if you were a gambling man, you would bet on one of those three. But I think in a close second is the service industry. That's the waitress,
Yeah,
the
but
waitresses,
I wouldn't pin it down to
baristas,
baristas.
bartenders. That's like that next tier is what I'm saying. Like you have nurses, teachers, and what was the third one you said? I'm sorry.
Hairstylists slash hairdressers.
Yeah, hairdressers. That's for sure top tier. Not. I'm just saying population wise. I'm not saying like anything else. Under that, I would say the majority of the women are baristas, bartenders, and servers. Would you agree?
I love how you just are throwing for me. Like I just love how
I'm
you're-
only throwing that term around it because they love to coin that term.
No,
like they love to. They're like, oh, you work at a coffee shop? No, I'm a barista.
No,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
I love how you're spitting out all these, in my opinion, very like normal jobs that I'm like, yup, and then you just like throw baristas in there. I'm like, wait, baristas don't belong in this category.
I think because you don't drink coffee a lot, Jack. There's probably just as many coffee shops during the day open as there is bars at night. You know what I'm saying? So the world is fueled on coffee. Just me and you. Like me and you are in the minority of not drinking coffee. The world drinks coffee. There's tons of coffee
Little kids
shops
in
open
India
all
drink
over.
coffee every morning when they wake up.
Yeah, in Italy, there's coffee pots in every room of the house. That I mean, I saw where you're going, but my point is, there's tons of coffee shops, and people need to work those coffee shops. And it's the beautiful barista women. And now you said you haven't dabbled with them, and you said you don't. I would advise against. I think it's not. I don't think it's a category. The servers and the bartenders, they do differ a little bit because they're in the nightlife. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, you know their schedules are different and things like that. But the baristas, the morning, I think just think of it as a morning bartender. Those exist. They're called baristas.
Think about it. I'm not interested. Now,
you shouldn't be.
Here's something that I ran into a couple weekends ago. I was out with some friends, and you know, I go up and I order these drinks, and the bartender is very friendly, nice lady, whatever. So I flag her down. I'm like, you know, we're at a table. I'm like, hey, you know, can you come over here? I'm just going to order, you know, another round or whatever, see if anyone wants anything. And she comes over, and she puts her hand directly on my, on my shoulder, you know. Physical. And to me, I didn't know what to do with that because I was like, the girls I was with were like, she's just being friendly. She just wants a tip. But I'm like, if I was working, though, and I put my hand on some girl's shoulder.
That's what I wanted to say.
I'm getting my bartending license revoked. I'm getting fired, and I may even catch a suit. So for her to just be able to just lay her hand, you know, she basically started, you know, getting out that collarbone knot, if you will. Like
she did the Mr. Bonds.
Yeah, well, she put her hand on my shoulder. I didn't know how I felt about it. Then she put it back down, and then she put it back up again. So there was basically two touches, neither for that long, 3 to 5 seconds.
Unacceptable in my opinion, but carry on.
But you know, and then the girls I was with, they were like, "Oh, you know, she was just being friendly, and she just wants a nice tip." And I'm like, I don't know, Jay. I don't know, man. Yeah, and then she did tell me when I closed out my tab, she said, "Oh, by the way, those shots I got you on. Those were on me." So look, I clearly was onto something there.
I'm obviously here for free drinks, and I'm obviously here for people being direct and upfront. You know, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say she thought you were attractive. She wanted to maybe shoot a shot. She was being extremely generous to do so, and that's okay. But the problem with it is exactly what you said. If it was roles reversed and you were the server and she was just the patron and you were touching her, you bought her a round of drinks, you would be looked at like a creep, and that's the problem. People don't want to have that conversation, and you know what? If we're the guys that have to do it, that's fine. Obviously, things like that exist. You know what I'm saying? There are weirdos, and people do. You know what I'm saying? There's sickos out there. That's no question. But what I'm saying is, we can't just give it a pass and just say, "Oh, she was just being nice. She just wanted." Regardless of the gender, I think it's you either have to be on one fence or the other. You have to be like, okay, yeah, she was being upfront. She wanted me, you know, she wanted me to maybe leave my number on the bill.
Yeah.
Or you have to be like, I'm fucking calling her manager. You can't pick and choose when you want to do that. You know what I'm saying? It has to be one side or the other, regardless of the gender. And I know people don't want to hear that, but that's the truth.
I feel like, like the whole, like, because I mean, obviously, a lot of people, you joke with your waitress or waiter, server, whatever, and it's a good atmosphere, and you know, it's good for everyone involved. Honestly, it's healthy to joke and have like that little back and forth with your waiter, waitress, whatever. But like, there are lines that we draw as a society, and probably the number one line between waiter, waitress, and patron is
don't touch me.
No physical, no, absolutely, under no circumstances are you allowed to ever, or vice versa. So a patron can't ever touch a server. Think about how weird that would be, if like a waitress came like right next to you and you like, even put like your hand on her back.
You're sicko.
It would be absolutely a no-go. You know what I'm saying? You could never get away with that, nor should you. But for it to be on the reverse side, and I obviously wasn't making a big deal about it, but I was like, I had to address it as soon as she walked away. I was like, did everyone see that, and are we gonna talk about it? And my buddy was with me, was like, extremely inappropriate, and the girls were like, she's just being nice. And like, to me, I was like, wow, I was so far on like the, like, that was even like, I didn't dislike it, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't getting harassed. I was flirting back, whatever. But to me, it was like it was a crossing of boundaries. Absolutely crossing of boundaries.
And I think it comes with the times, because I think had that happened to you, let's say 20 or 30 years ago, like, you would have maybe like leaned into it and kind of played into it a little more, had a little fun. You would have played off the energy that she was initiating. You know what I'm saying? But instead, you have to be like, whoa, like, nowadays, the fact that it's just in your head, like, whoa, that's like, it's not accepted by the majority of people.
Absolutely.
But the fact that she's a woman, she was able to do it, especially with a group of women sitting here. They all witnessed it, and they all said it was okay. But like you said, had the roles been reversed, it 100% would have, and it would not have, rather. And it's sad that, that's kind of where the world is at now. But I kind of wish it would go back to the times where it was like, yeah, if someone initiates a little bit of energy, and then you kind of just, it's on you to respond. It's like, hey, don't fucking touch me, or like, hey, and you play into it a little bit. They kind of give it, like, I don't mind people being upfront and direct with their intentions, but nowadays you have to like tread so lightly, and for females to just get a pass, especially from other females, it's a double standard. And I know women are going to fight against this. They're going to say like, oh, I'm sure it happens a lot more, blah blah blah, like, and I'm not trying to discredit anything that, the sickos, because they're going to try to cancel us, but there are sickos. But that waitress, odds are she's trying to have some fun, and in another setting you might have been playing into it, had some fun with it, but you just had that in the back of your head, like, whoa, that was kind of weird. Why did she just put her hand on my shoulder?
I had another time where like I was at a Bucks like Heat. It was like the Bucks were playing the Heat in the playoffs, and we were playing, and like, we bought a round of shots, and I was like, oh, if the Bucks win, take another shot. Bartender was super nice, really cool. She's like, oh yeah. So the Bucks end up losing. I'm like walking past, and I was like, hey, too bad the Bucks lost. We could have had that free shot. And she grabs my hand, and she's like, we're taking these shots anyway. And I did the same thing. I was like, you can just tell me like, hey, we're gonna go take these shots, but you can't grab my hand. Like, that is like, you're on that side of the bar, I'm on this side of the bar. Like, you absolutely. You can't just go grabbing people's hand. You can't just go grabbing people's shoulders, and you like.
No.
And that might be like the first thing they teach you day one of restaurant or like service industry, is just like never, ever.
Well, I mean, even sense. Before
it's common sense.
Even before learning to be a waitress or a bartender, like respecting people's personal space. Like, you don't know this woman at all. You have no kind of connection, and for her to just be touching you, it's like, yo, don't touch me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know you. Not to mention, we're in the middle of a fucking pandemic. You know what I'm saying? You're touching me? I don't know what you've been touching all day. You might have the vid. You know what I'm saying?
You might have the 19.
Yeah, you might have got that 19. So don't just be touching people. But that, and just I hate it, because I kind of wish, I'm the kind of guy, I wish things were a little more free. And I know, like, I wish there was a world where, you know, where you get to lean into that a little more, because I know you don't mind, you know, beautiful women who have been pouring you drinks all night to grab your hand and say, "Hey, we're going to take another drink." But the point of the fact is, it's in your head that's not okay nowadays.
Well, I think part of the reason why I notice it, part of the reason I notice it is because I am like, wow, I could never do that. Like, yeah. I put myself in their shoes. I'm like, wow, like if I was doing that, I would be fired immediately. And like, maybe you can, like, that's another thing. Like, another episode we need to get into is just how hot girls can get away with literally anything. They can walk into any area. They can get into any VIP bar. What, like, there's just really no real rules. And we kind of did dabble into that episode 3 with Erica. Like, she's just like,
we did.
We can just go pop bottles of Grey Goose and, you know, drop, like, do whatever.
It doesn't matter.
Break them, smash them on people's heads. Who cares, you know? That's a whole nother topic for another episode. But yeah, I mean, those just 2 stories just kind of came up in my head as like a double standard, if you will, I guess. You know, just kind of came up.
Yeah, I'll tell you, no one's going to feel bad for us being, you know, the straight white guys, right? I feel like we're the biggest criminals in society today. The straight white guy gets no fucking love. None. But I don't think anything we've said today was out of line. I think we're speaking the truth, and I think a lot of people will agree with us. You know, nowadays it's simply unacceptable, and they get the free pass, but you know, whatever, I guess.
So
I don't know what we can do about it.
I wanted to dabble into this, and this is going to be our last little segment here. We don't need to talk about it too much, but I was just thinking about, you know, there are things that you go through in your day-to-day life that work and happen, and you don't know how they operate. So for me, the example that I was going to use this week was just like a microwave. Like, I have no idea how a microwave works. I don't think I don't know if anyone truly knows how a microwave works. All you know is you put your food in it, you hit a button, the light goes on, and it heats your food up. And no one even knows how much time to put stuff in for. You know, you ask your mom, you're like, "Mom, how long should I heat this up for?" And every time it's like 1 minute, you know, 1.5 minutes. It's a total guess. That thing could come out and it could be scorching, or it could come out and it could be cold as ice. The microwave is one of the most confusing pieces of equipment that we use in our daily life, because I truly could not tell you how it works in any capacity. I don't know the fucking like logic behind it, the physics, the science. Like, where are we going with this, Jay? Do you know how microwaves work?
I have no idea, and I put a lot of trust in it. You know what I'm saying? I'll throw in my leftover meals in there, and it's just like, I just know it's going to work, and it always does, and it usually doesn't let me down. I haven't ever really had to upgrade microwaves. You know, I've gotten new ones over time, but you know, that's just something. It's the trust. You know what I'm saying? You throw it in, you press the buttons, and you expect it to work. I have no idea how it works. My question to you, I'm going to throw one back, is where do you usually err? What I like to do, I like to ensure that, because you know, like you said, we don't really know how it works. Like, does the top get heated first and then the heat goes down? Does it start in the middle, come out? Like, I've heard people say that, you know, I've heard people try to break it down, but I don't know. But essentially, my microwave plate is I'm going to put it in there for an excessive amount of time. Especially because, you know, you don't necessarily eat it fresh out of the microwave. You're going to kind of take it to wherever your eating scenario is. You're going to sit down, maybe grab a drink, you know what I'm saying? So I usually err on the side of, I want it scalding hot, and then by the time I kind of get situated, it's at a proper heated temperature. And I think that's a big guy tip for all eaters out there. I think that's like the heady play. I want to know how you kind of play your microwave game.
I also do the same thing where I absolutely nuke the living shit out of it. Like, now I don't know how you operate, Jay. I don't really walk away from the microwave. Like, I'll stand there like a freaking
watch it.
I'm locked in. I'm staring right through it. Now, my mom told me one time not to look at it, and I was like, "Why?"
Don't get too close and don't look at it. Yeah, I've heard all that. It's
bad for you. And I was like, "Well, I need to see how my food's doing." I generally don't pull something out until I see it like smoking a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like you can see it's starting to steam up in there. You can hear a couple pops. It's like, and you're like, wow.
Yeah, the sauce might shoot up and hit the roof. Yeah, that's kind of when I usually let it go for 30 more seconds and then I pull it out. That's kind of where I'm at.
Yes. No, absolutely. Jay, I mean, we're hitting our time limit here, buddy. I mean, this episode went crazy fast. We didn't even have a lot of scripted today. We went off in a lot of different tangents. Save a little for next week. We are going to have a guest next week. Little tip. We are going to have a guest next week. It should be a great time. I really enjoyed this episode, Jay. I got to tell you, the bed talk was phenomenal. It sounds like you're not getting it up anymore for 8s at the grocery store. I mean, times are changing,
Times are changing, and I'd like to. I'm one of those people. They love to say, "Oh, I was born in the wrong era." Right? Yeah. How many people have you met that have been born in the wrong era? It's like, okay, let's forget about that. But yeah, no, I'm with all the technology and everything. I'm super happy with where we're at. But I do kind of feel like that. Nonetheless, great episode. We dove into a lot. I think we dropped a lot of gems. I think we gave out like 5 or 6 red flags.
Yeah, we did.
People will have to chop up this episode and we might have to put a red flag like compilation together at the end for the people. But
how many girls are listening to this and also ripping their vape and just saying, well, I don't use it that much. Like we're talking about someone else. No, if you got the vape, we're probably you're getting.
We're wiping out draft boards week after week, but we want people to be happy. We want people to swim in those nice, calm Turks and Caicos type waters. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Yes. So that's all we're asking. But yeah, no, great episode. I'm stoked. 15 weeks, man. We just looked. You know what I'm saying? We're running it up and foot's on the gas, man. Here we are. I'm happy to see where we're at. Shout out to all the listeners. Yeah. Spotify, YouTube. I think Jack said we ran the analytics this week. A lot of our listeners coming from Spotify. So shouts out to the Spotify community. Yep. We might be in talks with Spotify people soon to do some dealing. So just keep your ear to the streets for that. Otherwise, keep subscribing, keep running us up, man. We love you guys.
Absolutely. This is season 1. I know there was some confusion as to what our plan is. This is season 1 still. This is episode 15, season 1. We are going to do multiple seasons of MVP. We appreciate all of our guests who have come on the show, all of our future guests, and everyone who taps in, week out. Without you guys, this really is impossible. Like I said, one of you guys could be listening. Jalen and I are going to be here week in, week out grinding. So we appreciate it. Thought this was a great episode, and we can't wait to be back next week with you, Novesters. So thank you.
Much love.
Novest.